And I guess what I'm trying to say, Ethan, is this, that the rhino and the giraffe and the entire animal kingdom, they can't stand to be around the zebra. And do you know why that is?
I don't, Harry.
Attitude. It's attitude.
That's great, Harry, but don't you have a show to get to?
Oh, shoot. Live show? No script? What could possibly go wrong? Thank you for being here. This is Callaway Live. Where else would you be? Of course it's Callaway Live. I'm not above appreciating the courtesy clause, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So we're off to a great start. This is our third show. Our first two shows broke all of our internet digital content records, which, that's worthy of an applause. Especially since none of you can actually verify any of that. So we broke all the records, and tonight we have an even better show for you guys. We're really excited about this show. This borders on the same type of excitement we had. Remember when we turned the atrium into the dog park? Do you remember that? Yeah. That was good. There it is. Our dog park. And that was actually one of the better hack golf initiatives that we went up right up there. Too soon? No? All right. So we have a great show for you today. Our guest is, there's been a lot of talk in golf lately about underrated things and overrated things. And if you follow golf, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tonight, for my money, our guest is one of the most underrated people in the entire sport. He's written 11 books on golf and golf architecture. He started the original golf blog almost 13 years ago, GeoffShackelford.com. So you know who it is now. I just told you his name. And he is one of the most astute golf commentators going. He knows more about golf architecture than most architects do. And he will be on the show tonight talking about all things golf architecture, as well as he has some very provocative opinions on equipment, and we're going to ask him about that. I know, right here. Can you believe it? How about that? So we're going to do some fun stuff with Geoff. We got Chad's tiny studio as well, and we'll be right back with Geoff Shackelford.
In the 2015 Golf Digest Ball Hot List, only one ball won 5 stars for performance, feel, and innovation. That ball is Chrome Soft. It's the ball that changed the ball.
Hi, I am Belén Mozo, and you're watching my favorite golf internet talk show, Callaway Live with Harry Arnett. Back to you, Harry.
All right, we're back. Our guest tonight, as I mentioned before, I call him Golf's Renaissance Man, which is a term that I normally reserve for myself, as you guys know. I like him not only because he's done all these cool stuff in the sport, but his mouth gets him in trouble from time to time. So we like that here. So please welcome to our show tonight on Callaway Live, Geoff Shackelford. There he is. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Look how well-dressed Geoff Shackelford is. You have the image that you have to maintain at all times. Does that get a little hard for you wearing the jacket around a golf company like ours?
Well, when you are called a blogger, people tend to think you're in pajamas in your basement and you're plotting some sort of revenge.
I noticed when you walked into our office, you went full sunglasses because you hadn't seen real daylight in a long time. How do your parents even describe what it is you do? Because I was telling someone we're having Geoff on the show tonight. They're like, oh, I know that guy. What does that guy do?
Media.
Yeah.
Media. It's nice and vague. That's what I go with now. I've kind of adapted to the times, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. But I really wanted to be a golf architect, and I kind of saw where things were going there, and I did books, and I started a blog when nobody knew what that really was, and I kind of got lucky that evolved the way it did, and then the economy kind of went the way it did, so I knew golf architecture wasn't going to happen, and writing books is a little shaky, so then I started doing television work.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Well, what's next? You ought to pick more dying industries that you can try to be a part of. So when did you decide that, golf architecture, that's what I want to be? It's kind of in vogue now, but I can't imagine that was all that cool in the bars running around LA.
No. It still isn't, by
Yeah.
the way. You know, it's one of those things when you play a lot of golf, some people just take to golf courses and finding them interesting, and some people don't. Some people are more interested in their game and just trying to get through the golf course. I was one of those people who, even though I was a pretty good player, I was more interested in picking apart what the architect was trying to do and why this person took this vast canvas and made it the way they did. And most of the time it was like, why did this idiot do what they did? And then I got a book, George Thomas's book my dad had, and I got to read that, and then just kind of one thing after another. And I was always interested in kind of cultural stuff and art and movies, and seeing the ties with golf architecture kind of just really spurred my interest.
So even when Jeff played college golf, a lot of people probably don't realize that, not that long ago. But Jeff and I are similar ages, so it was just like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But so when you were playing golf, when you were actually trying to make a score,
Yeah.
did you attack golf courses through the lens of somebody that knew all this, or was that totally outside of your mind for a period
No,
of
I
time?
did, and that's a very dangerous thing, by the way. Once you start noticing all the trouble, noticing everything the architect did, not a good way to play the game. You really just have too much on your mind at that point.
And what do you think about today's architecture, if there is such a thing? You haven't been critical of it at all, have
Oh,
you?
no,
Yeah.
never. No.
So what do you think when you think of, what's happening on tour and how kind of the game's evolving? What in your mind are some of the themes that pop up?
Well, things are actually going in a good direction right now, I feel. And part of it was the economy drove some of it, but I think part of it's just changing tastes. It's really neat to see, since I started writing about this stuff and being interested and ranting and raving about things, how players, who really, let's face it, they dictate the conversation, have gotten to be more astute about what's a good hole and what's good for golf. And to me, that's very exciting. We're not there all the way, but the difference compared to 10 years ago in, the people who are called minimalists, which is like Ben Crenshaw and Bill Coore and Tom Doak and Gil Hanse, who I do work with, that term 10 years ago, we sound like we should be driving VW vans and, smoking pot and like we're really
It's
like
only
hippies.
because you're smoking pot and driving VW vans.
But now minimalism's cool. So
Yeah.
that's kind of in a nutshell the progress we've made. We're not the lunatic fringe anymore, and that's exciting.
Well, you went air quotes on us on minimalist there, and which means that you almost, as you said, consider that sort of like a pejorative meant to keep you guys sort of on the outside. But when you think of minimalist architecture, what are the tenets of that to you?
Well, you take what nature gives you, because ultimately what good golf courses come down to is golfers reject what feels man-made, what feels artificial. It's just like watching a movie and you see fake digital special effects, it just doesn't resonate. But when you watch a film where it feels real, it feels authentic, you respond to it. And the same thing, especially with golf architecture, you feel like if some person there is trying to pull the levers and mess with your game, you don't like it. And that's why people don't like penal courses. And when you feel like you're playing something where they literally just walked on the land, mowed down the grass, and cut cups, even if they didn't, if you just feel like that's the case, you're more likely to embrace that and find that interesting, and you're not going to be annoyed by the stuff that's a little bit quirky, like a blind shot, because you're going to say, hey, that was natural.
Or all the smoke pouring out of vans nearby,
Yeah.
or that kind of stuff. So what are some of like the top, when you think of that style in America, which isn't something people talk about in America too much. We're the land, we like to move things,
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
stuff. So what are some of the places that you think of when you think these
Yeah.
are really good examples of what you're talking about?
Well, most of the golf courses done in the 20s that we revere, the Cypress Points, Shinnecock Hills, you name all the top 10s, the Marions, every one of those, they're minimalist designs in that they may have moved things around, but they did it in a way that makes you feel like it's natural. And so that's why those courses endure and why people still love them and they still want to play tournaments there.
And is that your design aesthetic too when you start, because you've designed some courses and have collaborated on some as well.
Yeah.
Is that sort of your input there?
Absolutely,
Do you take,
yeah.
okay, this is what was done in the past, how can we apply it, or is there a modern touch to that?
I would like to see us do that. I think one thing where we're kind of stagnant is that we kind of are not saying, okay, this is what the old architects did, and that's really great. Now, how can we take the things that work from that and then maybe throw in a new spin, put in something that's a little bit more intricate. You know, the old architects all wrote, what we're doing today is nice, but down the road they're going to be doing amazing things. Well, it ended up, it kind of went the other way, and things went the opposite direction. So we're just now kind of getting course design back to the principles that a lot of those architects brought to the game, which they all just brought from the links courses of Scotland.
Yeah.
So the next stage is now to really put in this interesting strategy that's sort of like you find on the old course. I mean, let's think, the most strategic course on the planet is the oldest course, the first really that was ever built, which is kind of a ringing indictment, really.
We should have hung it up right there and called it a
Exactly.
day.
I mean, really, we peaked at the start.
We would have 300 total golfers globally. That'd make our jobs easy at Callaway. We'd only have to sell like 2 sets of irons and a dozen balls every year, and that we'd make our number.
Yeah.
But so I think it's hard because I love that style too. It's one of the reasons anytime anybody invites me to go to Bandon, I'll go. I don't care who it is. If it's my annoying neighbor who I never talk to, he's, hey, you want to go to Bandon? I'm going. We'll drive up there. We'll take the. But tour golf is really all people ever see on TV now, and so you don't really see these types of golf courses a lot. Is that? Are we in danger of sort of having this thing be totally niche?
No, because one of the things that has been really fun, and this year is just amazing. We just saw Royal County Down host the Irish Open. Gullin, where Phil Mickelson's going to play in the Scottish Open. I mean, that's one of the oldest places on the planet. The people who are in charge are realizing that not only do the players have a great time playing these things, and when they have a great time, they're more fun to watch, but for us, it's more fun to go to those places or to watch those places on television. So where it's possible, where it works, we're actually seeing some tournaments really go back to these great places. And every time it's a home run. Every time.
Yeah, that's great. You know, one of the things here at Callaway is we are a prove what you say kind of company. Can we agree to that? And so we followed Geoff for more than a decade, and he's written 11 books, and I've read none of them. No, I've read probably 6 of them or 7 of them. And we thought, can he just write about golf, or does he actually know what he's doing? We know he's done Rustic Canyon and collaborated on some of the biggest projects, high-profile projects, but can he really put these skills to the ultimate test? And so we took him earlier today into our office to have him design the ultimate office golf course. Here's Geoff.
There are 3 keys to designing an office putting course. I take my inspiration from George Thomas, one of the great old architects, and he was very big on making sure that getaway hole was very playable, very fun. And of course, I think he'd love this multi-level setting, which you do have to watch, so there is a little bit out of bounds, but that never deterred the great architects. But once you flirt with the out of bounds, it sets up this key shot. You have this beautiful downhill shot down the stairs. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's it. After a nice, gentle opening hole, the great architects like to air it out. It's good for speed of play. Also, you got a lot of nice stuff to work with here, trees, pillars, perfect kind of second hole for an in-office putting course. Finally, yes! See, look at that. The final key to designing an office putting course is to have the ultimate risk-reward hole, preferably one where you knock off the boss.
There we go. Nicely done. Nicely done. You took that very seriously. And my only question here is, should it be a private course?
You're the comic relief. I'm not here to deliver the jokes.
I thought it was a pretty face. Should it be a private course, or should we go public on that thing? I think we should go public. Don't you
What
think?
thing? Your putting course?
Yeah.
It's private.
Open. Oh,
it's
it is
very private. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's restricted.
All right. Well, you got to do a book on it, so at least I can see the pictures. So we mentioned before we did that a little bit about the game and how tour golf is evolving and the effect of it on architecture. I want to talk to you a little bit about that when we get back from the break. You willing to talk about that?
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, you're in sort of hostile grounds here.
Yeah,
I think,
the chair's not going to drop through the floor, right?
We'll throw golf balls, but they'll be chrome soft. They won't hurt. So anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk to Geoff a little bit about his take on equipment right here on Callaway Live.
a more aerodynamic speed step crown, and a faster Armoto face generate up to 5 miles per hour more ball speed. This is distance built from outrageous speed. The new XR Driver from Callaway.
I want to take a second to thank Phil Mickelson and Roger Cleveland for designing such a beautiful wedge. Finally, I know what love means. You, I want to touch you all over your face and all of your grooves. You, I want to touch you all over your face and all of your grooves. I'm intentionally missing green so I can touch you. I never seen a bad lie that you couldn't get to. I can't wait for the next time that I got a chip. Can't wait to have my fingers wrapped around your grip. Yeah, I'm working on my short game early in the AM. Practice in the morning, but I do it with my PM. Hitting flop shots to the green from all around. Yeah, call me carousel the way I'm getting up and down. I gotta touch you. I wanna touch you all over your face and all of your grooves. You, I wanna touch you all over your face and all of your grooves. When it comes to shot making, you gon' want this in the bag. With Mac Daddy grooves and weight posts on the back. Looks like a ship from Star Trek, come from outer space. With 39% more grooves on the face. Pulling shots back on the green toes a pin. My body's drama mean the way this wedge makes it spin. I coming out the sand, yeah, it feels so smooth. I use my mustache to clean out your dirty grooves. Cause I gotta touch you. I wanna touch you all over your face and all of your grooves. You, I wanna touch you all over your face and all of your grooves.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Callaway Live. We've got Geoff Shackelford here. A mostly docile audience, I would say. Not hostile.
No.
But
so far.
How'd you like that commercial the guy said it?
Very
Everyone
nice.
thinks they can do an ad. Everyone thinks they can be a marketing guy. And you know why they think that? Because everyone can be a marketing guy. Pretty much. But anyway, so as we kind of evolve, and I think really your site, when I think of geoffshackelford.com, 13 years, by the way, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
In this, when you're doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. You really,
Scary.
Geoff was really the first guy to do a site like that, which has evolved into one of the key commentary sites about golf, unbiased, I would say, too. Boy, are you unbiased. But I'd like for you to be a little more biased towards the equipment companies, if you don't mind. But there's a whole place on there where you are, I think, fairly critical. I say fairly as in he's fair, not fairly as in mildly, because he's extremely critical of the golf company. But what effect do you think is having as we evolve in here on these great golf courses that we've been talking about?
Well, the website started as a continuation of a book I wrote called The Future of Golf. And the point of the book was that we were getting away from certain values that weren't really good for the future of the game. And one of those main issues that is important to me and a lot of other people is protecting the old courses, making sure that the footprint of a golf course doesn't go from 6,500 yards to 7,500 yards. Well, we've done that, so now we're just trying to prevent it from going to 8,500 yards or something thereabouts, because that just stretches out the time it takes to play, and a lot of us feel kind of takes away some of the fun factor when it's all about power. So I wrote that book and then have continued the website as sort of a continuation of my view that we need to make sure we kind of keep a good balance between challenge and skill and fun and affordability and all that kind of stuff.
So on the reprints, do you just erase 7,500 and put in 8,500? Where do you need to go, 9,500? We're going to try to do that here at Callaway. We want you to do I think for us here, or any equipment company, I think it's definitely one where we respect the game, but we're also trying to give enjoyment to people from a game that's really hard. I have never met anyone walking off a golf course that told me that was easy.
Right. No. And we're all very understanding of that concept. The point is, though, that there is a danger in kind of chasing distance, when you stretch courses out and do all that. That's the view. And then also just kind of the architecture and how it all functions and plays. And so that's why we take that point of view, and we're you know, the terrorists of the game. But we feel like people understand what we're trying to say, and more now. And there's kind of been a quieting of the discussion, and I don't know how you feel, if that's something that you guys feel a lot of pressure still from the governing bodies, because they have made a few adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, every day we feel like it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
And, you know, we feel like every time they make it tighter, it's forcing us to figure ways out to innovate. And, you know, innovation is good for technology. It's
Sure.
good for the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't really know what the right answer is. What if you were made sort of king for a day over all the ruling bodies, what would be some things you would do if you could unilaterally say right now, without any discussion,
Yeah.
or, you know, cooling off period, as you mentioned, what would they be?
I've had a very strong view for a long time that, and the word is so awful, bifurcation. You know, only the USGA could come up, only their lawyers could come up with that word. But it's really what, to me, would be the best thing for the game, because ultimately what a lot of this comes down to is a professional game. You're right, the amateur isn't affected necessarily by a lot of these advances in distance. So if you have two sets of rules, our view, those of us on one side, feel that the pros are going to play a game that's a little bit more relatable, because I feel like they're not quite as relatable as they used to be when Rory McIlroy wins at Quail Hollow, never hitting more than a 9-iron into a par 4, something like that. But I also have always felt that the good player, the aspiring player, is still going to buy what Phil Mickelson plays. They're still going to aspire and play that equipment, or that ball, whatever it is that maybe controls the distance a little bit. And then the average golfer is going to be free to go and play whatever they want. And there's a view that two sets of rules is just not what people want, and I don't agree. I think the game would survive and thrive with with that setup of two sets of rules.
So would that affect kind of all levels of tour? Like, where does it, just PGA Tour?
I think the PGA
Men's
Tour,
tour, women's
men's
tour?
tour. I don't know about women's and Champions Tour. I don't think so. But on the other hand, you know, some of the places these players are hitting it on all tours are astounding. They're just astounding. And as an architect, it's not. You know, a lot of us don't want to go and slow this stuff down because we like seeing people hit it shorter. It's just strictly by the design and trying to maintain the elements of the design to keep them relevant.
Are
And
there
by the way,
things you
isn't
can
it
do
wonderful? It got so quiet.
I know. Well, there are a lot of people's livelihoods that are being affected by this.
No, but see, that's where there's the misunderstanding, is that if you bifurcate, I really believe that it allows companies to still do what they want to do, maybe even innovate more for the average golfer, and also do stuff for the aspiring player that's more, maybe, I don't know how it depends on how you approach it, but I think it could be a positive, but we tend to be in the minority.
Yeah,
on
I
that
can
one.
see that from an architect's point of view, but
Yeah.
you know, I really don't want to start watching Gary Woodland hitting 240-yard drives. I know that's not what you're saying. I know that's not what you're saying. 250-yard drives.
No, 10%. He's going to go. He would go from 330 to 300, and the world would continue to revolve on its axis. The sun would set in the west.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of one of those guys. I love watching tournaments where par means something. So I love watching a U.S. Open when 1 or 2 under wins or 1 or 2 over. But I think I'm in the minority on that. And obviously we are among golf circles and people say that. But every time there's a birdie fest on the back nine on Sunday in a tournament, the ratings are always the best ratings of the year. And we saw it this year at the Masters with an exciting back nine.
What you're talking about are a couple different things. There's birdie fests like the Bob Hope Classic, kind of everybody is 30 under par. But then there are also those great ones where you see a lot of birdies being made, but you also see the course able to kind of separate the field. The really elite players are able to just attack it and go and light it up. But it's also kind of weeding out the people who aren't playing as well. And finding that balance is very hard, and that's one of the things with the whole sort of distance pursuit and the views of technology and course setup that's been a struggle, you know, because I don't think there's anything worse than what you like, which is that where everybody's just getting beaten up and you don't feel like skill matters, and I don't like that. that's just not, as a viewer, that's not rewarding. I mean, these guys and gals are incredible. And when you see that person, just like a great horse race where that one horse just takes off down the stretch, the excitement of watching that one player emerge through skill and their talent, and we know how hard this game is, and under pressure and everybody watching, to me, that's just the most rewarding thing to watch.
I feel like you were being a little politically correct with us today. This is not the Geoff Shackelford I know. This is not
such
the
a nice crowd.
This is not the Geoff that I like to mix it up with on Twitter, who tells me that I'm an idiot, that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Document that.
Yes. I have no evidence to support any of that actually happened. But we believe that we have the best R&D in anywhere in the world here. Am I right? Yeah. Oh, shameless commercial.
Yeah. Subtle.
Shameless commercial. Hashtag awesome R&D. And so they worked on a little something for us, knowing that you would be here. And it's a little thing that we've called, because we're really good at names too, the Shackelford Iser.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And so what the
boy.
Shackelford Iser is it took a bunch of tweets that we sent out, and I just told you we're shameless promoters of our company here. It took a bunch of our tweets over the past several weeks, ran it through the Shackelford Iser, and it spit it out in the essence of how Geoff would break down what we were actually trying to say for the consumer.
Nice.
Yeah. So a little Shackelford Iser. This was months in the making. And here's, so we're going to show you the original Callaway tweet, run it through the Shackelford Iser, and then we will get the essence from Geoff through the Shackelford Iser. So here's the original tweet. Tour pros aren't the only ones raving about XR Woods. They just dominated the GolfWorks gear trials. Yeah? How about that? All right. I love that.
Yeah. Great tweet. Wow.
Yeah. So we ran it through the Shackelford Iser. And here it is. A bunch of guys who think they know something about golf clubs said they liked XR Woods. Hashtag internet golfers.
I have nothing to correct on that. That's perfect.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
I told you we have
perfect.
the best R&D. All right, here's the next one. This is the original Callaway tweet, shameless commercial. And last but not least, we wrap up a trio of Team Callaway birthdays over the past 2 days. Happy 30th, Sandra Gal. There's Sandra Gal. It's a great tweet.
Yeah.
Love that. Run it through the Shackelford Iser. One more lame excuse to post a picture of Sandra Gal dancing around in a golf skirt. All right.
I think I would have said short skirt
yeah,
instead of
short.
golf, but other than that, pretty good.
We got some tweaks to do on the old Shackelford Iser to get it what I'm saying.
It's a little slow, I see.
Yeah, it's working out well, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another original Callaway golf tweet, shameless promotion of Callaway golf products. Believe the hype. Chrome Soft achieves perfect score in performance, feel, and innovation on the Golf Digest Hot List. So we ran that through the Shackelford Iser, and Hot List only gave Chrome Soft 3 stars for demand. Nice job, marketing team. Retail fail.
Nice.
You like that?
Yeah. I don't think I would have capitalized Chrome and Soft though, just to throw in a little more of a
we're
jab.
marketing guys. All right. And we got one more. One more original Callaway golf tweet. Here we go. This is unsolicited advice in 5 words. This is what we call real-time marketing. You kind of tag into a hashtag, and people love that stuff,
Wow.
don't they? From Callaway Golf. I'd probably hit a provisional. This is from Callaway Golf. Unsolicited advice in 5 words. Run it through the Shackelford Iser. And hire another social media manager. Unsolicited advice in 5 words. So that's our Shackelford Iser.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, pretty close, huh? Pretty
Very
accurate.
close. I'm disturbed, frankly.
Yeah.
We're so close. Yeah.
If anybody knows and follows Geoff and reads his blog, you know that that's the essence of Geoff. He'll cut things right down to the essence of anything that's absurd in golf. Geoff will be the guy that's right there. Is that fair to say? That now your parents have something they can tell their friends of what you do?
Yeah, I don't know if that's quite the hashtag they were looking for, but
Are we absent, do you think, in golf now of sort of people that are unafraid to sort of tell it like it is of what's happening out there to consumers?
yeah, I mean, look at this in golf broadcasting, how like Johnny Miller is still the guy. And they say, well, who's going to replace Johnny? Because there's nobody like Johnny. And we do need that. I mean, look at tennis. All those former players are great. They're cranky, they're opinionated, they're smart, they're funny, they're a little nutty. And maybe it's just the nature of our sport. We don't bring it out in people because you're out there a long time. You have to be calm and focused. You can't get worked up. But it would be nice to see some more, especially players. Let's face it. You know, writers can say all we want, but people want to hear players be opinionated. And you know, that's one of the things we love about Phil, your guy. He's going to just tell it like it is.
Yeah, he's been known to have an opinion or two on some things from time to time.
Yeah.
I'd be terrible at that job. I grew up in the South. And
it's not your thing.
I'm generally pretty passive aggressive. I could see myself in the booth being like, "You think you like that shot?"
Yeah.
Or, "Huh? You think he likes the white belt with those shoes?" I wouldn't be good at it.
No.
But I'll tell you a guy who's really good at breaking stuff down here for us at Callaway, and that's hashtag Chad Coleman. He's the purveyor of all these tweets.
Yeah.
And you're going to love this segment because it's chock full of millennial gold. Which
the only
I know
people
you
who
love.
matter.
So we're going to throw it right now to Chad's tiny studio.
Perfect. Oh, hey, Geoff. If you're looking for somebody to help design your next course for you, then look no further than this guy right here. I'm Chad Coleman, and this is another awesome episode of Chad's Tiny Studio. Now, while it may appear that I'm sitting here in Chad's Tiny Studio, I'm actually on location in Ohio for an ad shoot. And I guess rumors of my appearance spread pretty quickly because recent PGA Tour winner Chris Kirk decided to pay me a surprise visit. He apparently wasn't too impressed with the Razorbacks logo that I spray painted over his putter. I'm not even a Hogs fan. Speaking of champions that aren't too fond of bacon, not you, Shane. Mr. Player was out here recently to get a first look at the June Major staff bag we made to commemorate his 50th anniversary of winning the career Grand Slam. In fact, it was the first time someone's used words like stylish and gorgeous in the same room as me when they weren't talking about my hair. And finally, we are stoked to announce the addition of the Bryan Bros to hashtag Team Callaway. You've probably seen George and Wes pulling off some pretty cool trick shots on the internet, like this one with the PM grind.
Phil has this new PM grind. Supposedly it helps you get out of trouble, so George and I are going to go put it to the test. Look at that. It's on the green. It's on the green?
I'd love to show you my own personal trick shot arsenal, but that could take years and cost millions of lives. All right, guys, that's it for me. I got to go find Chris Kirk and apologize. So until next time, if it's cool and it's on the internet, I'm probably going to be talking about it right here on Chad's Tiny Studio.
Well done.
I'll tell you what. When you talk about work ethic, let me tell you something about that kid. Never mind.
Yeah.
He's millennials.
He is.
You actually, one of the funnier things I saw you wrote was you commented on a Forbes article about millennials, and you're a big fan of the whole let's focus all on millennials, aren't you, Jeff?
Yeah, now, just so that we're clear here, I love all things that people are doing to appeal to millennials. You know, the restaurants with everything in lowercase and the artisanal food and craft this and craft that. You know, you travel now, you can eat all these great meals, but it's just that there are other people in the world besides those who are 18 to 34, or now, is it now 20 to 36, whatever. But, you know, there are baby boomers who you know, still buy things. And this idea that your brain shuts down at 34 and you're not interested in, you can't be convinced buying something, I'm pretty much evidence that that's not the case, and a lot of us are that way, and that's what I have a problem with.
I remember you and I were talking
They're nice
about,
people, though.
You and I were
Really.
Well, we were talking about it at 4:30 the other night at dinner, you and I. And
that was a great buffet, by the way.
So what can golf do that to you, like, what are just some ideas, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but can still kind of maintain its integrity, but still sort of appeal to younger people that maybe see it as sort of slower and you know, the golf courses are too short?
I think the number one thing you hear about millennials is that they want authenticity. So the idea of trying to pander to one group of people, right there, aren't we losing them just by not being who we are? Golf is not skiing. It's not tennis. It's a different kind of sport. It's a different pace. and embrace some of those things. Stop trying to be something we aren't. It would be my message, because I think they probably see right through it.
He's an expert on millennials, as it turns out.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, that's Geoff Shackelford. You can see why we had him on here. Great guest today, Geoff. We really appreciate you being here. Why don't you come back sometime?
Anytime, Harry. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Come back. That's Geoff. Next week, we got an awesome show for you. Thanks for joining us tonight on Callaway Live, and we'll see you again next week. Yeah!